Welcome to this episode of Stumbling Through Growth, honest conversations about life's journey. I've started this podcast to share conversations about real things with people who inspire me the most. One of the things I want people to get out of these conversations is that we all have messy life and growth journeys. I know I'm learning all the time. So I'm super grateful to my guests for being open to sharing their experiences with me and with all of you. So my guest today is Heidi Clements. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Heidi, 65, wants to change the way the country looks at women over 50. A former TV writer turned social media influencer, and that's how I became aware of Heidi. Heidi uses fashion and storytelling in amazing ways to help reframe the way people look at aging. Heidi has worked in both magazine news and entertainment news, running shows like Entertainment Tonight, before moving into scripted television at 51. After producing 100 episodes of the Freeform's Baby Daddy, Heidi decided to shift her script focus and now only writes about women over 50. Thank you. As a woman over 50, I thank you. Heidi is now focused also on turning her social media into a business and spreading the word about pro-aging, anti-alcohol, and general ideas about life, love, the pursuit of happiness, and crushing the patriarchy. Yes, thank you. I'm so excited that you're here, Heidi. Thank you for saying yes when I
Of
asked you.
course.
Why did you say yes to this like complete stranger who has like this baby budding podcast?
Because I think the more we talk about things, the more the message might sink in. And I don't think any opportunity is too big or too small. I just think we need to keep talking and talking and talking because the patriarchy is very loud and very large.
This is so true. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that we could just talk for for hours just about the patriarchy and
Yeah.
all
There's
of the
not
things.
any airtime. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had
right.
enough. It's enough.
Enough.
But I do see, a lot of hopeful signs that things are changing. The younger generation is definitely not taking their shit anymore.
I love
And
it.
I think, things are very different from when I turned 50, 15 years ago. I mean, people didn't even know what menopause was 15 years ago. So
Right.
there are hopeful signs. Maybe in another 10 years we can actually get our HRT paid for by our insurance. Wouldn't that be nice?
I know. Like it's so like that whole conversation is I worked for a boss a few years ago, a guy who was like, "Oh yeah, we need to talk about menopause in the workplace." I'm like, "What? Who are you? Like, what planet are you from?" Because
Yeah.
like
Who was
nobody's talking about that, right? Exactly. He was from the UK. He's gone back now,
it?
right? But yeah, like there's just so much. There's so much that happens as we age that not only do people not talk about, but like you can't even find somebody, like even doctors don't know or don't like relate things. Like I know when I was probably perimenopause or early menopause, I don't know which, whatever, it doesn't matter. I had depression, and I've never had depression in my life. I've never felt those. I mean, obviously everybody has you have shitty days, you have good days, whatever, but I've never felt like depressed. And then I had a doctor's appointment. I was going through that questionnaire. You know the questionnaire. Have you ever felt like how many days a week or how many days does it feel like you're feeling these thoughts or having these thoughts or whatever it might be? And I was checking all these boxes, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is so bizarre. And I talked to my doctor, and she was going to send me for a mental health study sort of thing. Did this whole write up, like send you on the thing. I filled it out. I never heard anything. And then I was talking to my sister one day, and she's like, oh, she said, I was feeling the same things, and I started using testosterone as part of my HRT, which I never heard of before for women. And I started doing that, and it's been like a game changer for me. And I think even when we do talk about HRT, and obviously I'm not a medical person, so we're not diagnosing anything, right? But I didn't know that this was an option that, that part of this symptoms of menopause, at least for me, were testosterone based as well, or like losing testosterone. And having just a small amount every day has made an incredible difference for me. So I
And
think like we,
most people aren't going to check the box that says I feel like killing myself. There's a big
right.
difference between I feel like killing myself and I'm depressed. That's not on the checklist.
Right, right. And it wasn't a feel like killing myself. It was just the box of like, does your like feelings of depression prevent you from having normal work days? Whatever, those questions
But
that they
even
ask.
that, like
Like, yeah,
it's just that's a lot. to
It is a lot. I
mark
know.
off. I'd never mark that off. And also just, we don't know about it because they don't study us. I mean, they don't study menopause. They don't study the female body. They do tests on men
Right.
for things that are made for women. And, the one big study that was done on HRT got misread and the drugs got black box labeled. So I even had a friend the other day say to me, my doctor gave me the patch because I'm not sleeping and all of these other symptoms. And she said, but I'm afraid to take it. I'm like, why are you afraid to take it?
Yeah.
Like, people aren't doing the research, and it's insane that you have to advocate for yourself in 2026, but you do.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, big time.
I didn't start until I was 65, which is very post-menopausal, and I went to a gynecologist just to get cleared for if I had any kind of cancer history or cancerous cells, and because then you have to shift the kind of HRT you
Right.
use. And the doctor said to me, why are you going to start taking HRT now? At your age, you're going to give yourself cancer, which is completely inaccurate, and had no idea that I had zero estrogen in my body, which it stops your brain from functioning if you don't have
Right.
estrogen in your body. So it's
Yeah.
all really annoying and stupid. And I know that we're in an uptick in the right direction on that. But I also think menopause is just like the gateway into midlife. Like, there's a lot of other stuff that happens that people don't talk about. There's a lot of clearing of a lot of shame from all of our lives that we don't talk about that hits in midlife.
Yeah. The stuff that you're doing online, right, is because of a very specific way that you're just out there, and you're sharing some really incredible thoughts and ideas and all of this stuff for people, but also doing it in a way of like, you're starting out, you're in your underwear, you're getting dressed, you're doing your thing, right? And people are so drawn to it. And I think you've said, like, you're not getting a ton of negativity around it, other than one thing that I think you just touched on, actually. But like, do we have to wait until we're in sort of middle age before we have this
No.
wisdom, right?
No. Someone said to me this morning, I hope I'm you when I grow up. And I said, what are you waiting for? Do
Right.
it now.
Yeah.
Be me now. Be unapologetic now. Be confident now. Love yourself now. Love your
Right.
body now. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is you got to dig yourself out of the fucking muck soup of the patriarchy that tells you you have to be this by 30, you have to have a house, you have to be married, you have to have 2.3 children, you have to be straight, you have to be white, you have to be pretty, you have to be blonde. I mean, all of these things that you have to be. And as I like to say, we weren't in the Constitution, so what are you listening to them for? They didn't, everyone's like, enough.
Yeah.
Decenter men, decenter the misogyny and patriarchy, and go live your life, whatever that life is. And it's easy to know what the actual life is that you want to live, because it lives in your brain, in your bones, in your guts. You know what you want. You're just afraid to go after it, or you feel too ashamed to say what you want because you've been told that that's dumb and lame and stupid.
Right.
Why
And
listen to strangers on the internet? What the fuck do they know?
and yet here we are, right? But people
I'm
do,
not a
and I
stranger. I'm
no,
a
that is
friend.
true. You are not a stranger. No, that's so true though, because you mentioned in one of the conversations I was listening to your one of your episodes with Constance Zimmer, your Talk 50 to Me podcast, which I absolutely love.
Thank you
And
so
you were
much.
the thing was the one that you were talking to each other, like you were answering questions from people outside, and you were talking to each other. And I mean, there were many things in that conversation that really kind of struck me. But one of them was that you have found in social media good. Like you found
Yeah.
good things within. And I know a lot of people just talk about like it's evil and it's this and it's that. And I think it depends on your algorithm, right? It depends on what you're interacting with. Is kind of what it feeds you, obviously.
Yeah.
But for me, it's been a place of community in a way that, so I'm an introvert. I'm an immigrant. I grew up in Ireland. I've been in this country for 32 years now. I think 32 years this year. I'm much more extroverted or overt online than I am in real life. But
Yeah.
that has also allowed me or given me permission in some ways to be more like that in real life. Like the idea of me sitting here having this conversation with you like 2 years ago, it would have been just fucking absurd. Like it just wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have happened. Like I'm like, there's no way. And so I wouldn't have reached out. I wouldn't have thought about having a podcast. I wouldn't have reached out. There was something that happened in my life a couple of years ago around an artistic thing, Broadway show that I saw that changed my life, which was awesome. But
What was it?
the show was called Limpika, so it was about the artist Tamara de Limpika. I
Don't know
don't
it.
you know her, you know her work if you saw her work. She's very Art Deco, very well known
Oh,
at
cool.
the time, and also now, more so now. The show was on Broadway for a very short amount of time, but it just really kind of blew me out of a whole numbness. There was a whole thing that happened around that, and it sort of shifted me into just being more asking for what I want, right? Just being more sort of in my own self, in my body, in my mind, being more aware. Um, but also, I think that I've made a ton of connections through that show, but most of them live online. I mean, obviously, I've met people in real life too. But there's so much good in social media, I think, if you let it be what it
Yeah.
can be, and meet people, let people teach you, not about the patriarchy, but like around,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The opposite of that. Allow yourself to be yourself as you are.
Yeah.
And then I think like part of that, what you do, I find to be so generous is that you are just sharing yourself.
Yeah.
And
So I
I
always
don't.
say that it's like it's my journal. My Instagram is my journal.
Mhm.
And every story or everything that I say, I'm talking to myself. I'm therapizing myself. The beauty is that it has helped other people.
Right.
And that has just sort of solidified my belief that what I'm saying is good. I am a cursing, sassy asshole who fucking hates everybody. I hate everybody. You're all idiots. Nobody, everyone should shut the fuck up. But that's not how I decided to present myself for the most part in my reels because that is unhelpful. And I wanted to be something that helped people. I
Mhm.
wanted to share stories that resonated with people and made women stop feeling badly for being different, for not being married, for not having children, for having an opinion, for not feeling shameful about things that I stumbled my way through. And I did stumble my way through life because there was no social media for me to see other people like me. And women weren't really like me when I was growing up. We were taught to, poo poo older women. Like, what the
Mhm.
fuck am I going to listen to you for? What do you know, you old bitch?
Right.
And I didn't want to be that old bitch.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of good that can be done on social media, but you have to find it. And
Mhm.
I'm grateful that I don't get any hate, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But if I did, I would just throw it back at them because, whenever somebody is giving you hate from the internet, it's just because you're speaking everything they're afraid of
Yeah.
and too chicken to say out loud themselves. And fuck that.
Yeah.
Take
Oh
your
yeah.
shit somewhere else. I don't have time for it. I don't give a
Right.
fuck what you think about me. I
Right.
really don't.
But I
And
love that.
But I think that is very necessary if you're somebody who wants to have a career on social media. You need to figure out how to not give a fuck what people think about you. You need to figure out how to not filter yourself. You need to figure out how to be unapologetic and raw and vulnerable because the audience can smell you a mile away if
Mhm.
you aren't. And most of my followers are well under 40.
Yeah. But I love that that's your base too. Like that's who's following you. I mean, I think you
Yeah.
have like a multi-generational, but like it is a lot of younger people and they're like I love the younger generations. Like I love
Same.
Gen Z and millennials. Like they are just turning everything upside down. All the
Yeah.
bullshit that we all had to deal with and put up with and
Yeah.
it's like I love it. I love it so much.
I don't know how we got the message that our voices didn't matter because I grew up in the 60s and I saw that our voices mattered, but somehow in between then and now, I feel like we've gone backwards, women
Yeah.
at least. And I'm glad to see that Gen Z women are like, oh, fuck no. And Gen X women are like, oh, fuck no.
Yeah. Yeah.
My generation, the boomers, are still a bit of uh, assholes, but you know,
Like, yeah. I mean, like, I'm Gen X, and I'm definitely like, fuck this. Like, I'm not.
yeah,
I don't want to say I don't care what people think about me, because there's certainly a part of me that does.
yeah.
But I don't. It doesn't change me. It might. It gets in my head, but it doesn't
Mhm.
change
Yeah,
the
I
things that
mean,
I
of
say.
course, hateful shit gets in your head. You just have to figure out how to not let it stick in your
Yeah.
head and not
How
let
did
it
you do that
define
though?
you.
Yeah. Like, how did you like? Because you definitely are. Just very like, this is who I am. Fuck that. If you don't like it, don't, tough shit. And you don't get a lot of hate, which I love. But how did you get there?
I think, just of the years of just putting it all out there, a lot of it was just great feedback, but I think so much of it is I just really learned how to love myself. I just really learned that the only thing that was going to save me was how to figure out how to love all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes, the accomplishments. Just you have to love every aspect of yourself and radically love it because the idea that you would allow someone else's opinion to matter more than your own is so batshit crazy when you love yourself. You're you just get it, you just
Mm,
I really look at who's making the comment. Who is this person? They don't know me. I know me. I'm sure it would be really difficult if I were in the press and somebody were saying something horrible about me that I knew not to be true, but that's going to happen. And you just have to stay on the course of I know who I am. I know what I believe in. I know I'm a good person. I know I've made mistakes, but I'm going to continue to love myself because that's the only way to show other people how to love you.
mm,
If you don't love yourself, that's the message that you put out there, and it opens the opportunity for people to say, she's not strong. I'm going to go after her.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna love bomb her and then I'm gonna fucking take her down.
Ugh, yeah.
And a narcissist's favorite trick. And I was a narcissist magnet when I was younger because
Mm,
I didn't love myself because I was an unnurtured child. Now, a lot of the stuff that helped me get through this was ayahuasca. I've done ketamine. I used to do a lot of work with someone named Lacey Phillips online and a website called To Be Magnetic, where I did a lot of meditations and guided meditations through to take me back through all of my muck. And when I realized where I came from, I finally figured out why I was who I was, and that allowed me to be more apologetic to the child that I was, that became the adult that I am now. Like, oh,
mm-hmm.
no wonder I was a people pleaser and picked terrible men. I was set up for failure as a 4-year-old when someone molested me. I
Yeah.
was ruined when I was a drunk at 30, whatever it was, and someone assaulted me in my home. Like, I blamed myself because I was drunk. As a child, I blamed myself. I wasn't lovable. And these things stick with you for your life. And until you do the work
Yeah.
to dig yourself out of all of it, get a fucking shovel and go back. I always say, a lot of times people don't dig themselves out because their fear and their trauma is so comfortable to them. They hold on to it because who are they without it?
Yep.
Who am I without my trauma? I'm naked and I'm afraid.
Mm,
Go for it. Be naked, be afraid.
right. Yeah, that's really powerful, because that is the thing. Like, people get comfortable even if it's fucking miserable. they're
Yeah.
comfortable in that misery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your trauma is also very accepting to other people who feel the same way. So it's,
Mm.
it's, what's the word? I have a terrible vocabulary. It is, it helps people. Your trauma helps people because
Yeah.
they feel the same way. But imagine if you could help pull somebody out of that because you pulled yourself out of yours.
Yeah. I mean, but this is part of why I want to have these conversations, is like having, like, everybody has been through something, right? And,
Oh, yeah.
and, obviously some more than others, but like, if, if, if you can help somebody else, even just, and that's why I think like the stuff that you do online, like, and even like, I don't know, I don't do a ton of my own content, but I like share a lot of other people's stuff. And it's like, even if it's like one person goes, you know what, that's the message I needed to hear today.
Yeah.
You know,
That's great.
it's amazing,
One at a time.
right?
One
Exactly.
human at a time.
One human at a time. I know. And I think about what you were just talking about with trauma, and how it sort of, I think it attracts, like, people as well. Obviously it attracts the narcissists, but also attracts people who are also in those same situations. I do think sometimes, though, when you start to grow, or when you do kind of start to dig out of all that, you lose people
Absolutely.
who want you to stay where you were because they're comfortable with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, unhealthy people do not want healthy friends.
Right. Yeah.
It just shows you how unhealthy you are. And
Right.
guess what? Get the fuck away from them because you don't need that in your life either. You know, you
Right.
can't help, you can't, like, when I was an alcoholic, my friends could have told me 10,000 times you need to quit drinking, but I didn't listen. I had to get there myself.
Yeah.
And your unhealthy friends have to get there themselves, but in the meantime, don't let them drag you down
Right.
because they will. You will sink to the level of your friends. You need expanders in your life. You need people who are what you want to be, and not in a jealous way, but somebody that you want to expand yourself to become more like them, and
Yeah.
that's what you need in your life. Those are the people that you want to follow, not people that make you feel jealous or ashamed or, you know, make you want to hold on to your trauma more. You want to
Right.
you want to hold on to people that make you want to change.
Yeah. And not like in the misery loves company kind of way. Well, I don't know.
You
This
want
is
to
me
hold
anyway.
on to
Like,
the
instead of pissing
joy
around.
finds more joy
Yeah.
and happy finds more happy. And,
Right.
happiness breeds happiness.
Mm-hmm.
It just does.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that 100%. So you said earlier, I'm an asshole and I hate people, da 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 da, right? But I just, like, one of the things that I really kind of struck me in that conversation that I was watching with you and Constance Zimmer was that, she talked about you as this unbelievably kind, caring, and giving person, right? Which
If you're
that's
my
her.
person.
What's
Yeah.
that?
If
If you're
you're
my,
my person.
right?
I
Yeah,
no
I
longer
feel
give
that.
it. I used to give it to everybody.
Yeah.
And then I realized giving it to people that didn't deserve it was taking it away from me. And that
Mm,
I needed it more than someone undeserving. And so I started feeding it to myself. And when I started feeding it to myself, it helped me pick out the deserving people that I wanted to do things for. And my love language is definitely acts of service for others, not what I need to be happy, but
yeah.
what makes me happy is giving to other people. No strings attached. I just need to
Right.
know that they feel it. I
Yeah.
need to know that they care about me. And, even with Constance, we had a moment recently where she did not show up for me and I had to fucking call her out on it and remind her, like, hey, I know you're in it, but I'm in it too. And you got to
Yeah.
check in with me.
Mm,
And I can be a real asshole to people that don't. I can tell when someone is not feeling me, and I used to do everything to get them to want to like me. And now I laugh in their face and walk away because you are losing out on something so special. And if you don't believe me, listen to Constance and how she talks about me because that's what
yeah.
you're missing out on. And
Right.
I feel bad for you. And I
Yeah.
find it funny,
I
but it
love that.
doesn't hurt me anymore.
Good. Yeah. I love that. I mean, I think, like, let's all get to that place where we just, like, we know who we are, we know what our core is, and like what we bring. And if
Yeah.
people don't appreciate it, then they don't, and that's That's
Yeah,
their
and
loss.
it's really, people can call it selfish or, any every other kind of bad word, but like I don't want to be with people who don't give a shit about me. I don't want to be around people who don't feel the need to listen to me. I don't want to work for people who don't appreciate what I do. I'm just like, okay, I'll go
Yeah,
somewhere else. Like
100%.
I truly believe it is your loss if you don't have me in your world. And that took me a long time. Again, it took me to really understand loving who I am and what I put out there and not being ashamed to say, like, I fucking deserve this. I deserve good people in my life. I deserve money and jobs and friendships. I deserve all of that. It's a work in progress, but I like to remind myself of it because nobody else is.
Right. It's so interesting because I mentioned I grew up in Ireland. So like the culture in Ireland is, I mean, there's lots of great things about it, but it's very not like, you're not, can't be proud of yourself. Like
I'm
you're not
British.
supposed to.
I get it.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you're supposed to be like just demure and like
Yes.
all the like no, like fuck that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
No.
yeah,
It's very British to apologize and be quiet and
yep,
not, you know, step into any kind of power like outside of the patriarchal system. It's just the way it's like a double whammy if you're a woman and you're Irish or English or
right.
from that portion of the world, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just, you got to show up for yourself.
Yeah, you really do.
You just have to show up for yourself because, I mean, who are you going to show up for in a
Right.
way that you would show up for yourself?
Yeah,
No
but
one's
I
going to
mean,
show up for you in that level.
no. But you like I show up for other people that way, and I know I'm sure you do too. It's like
I
that,
do
you show up.
try to, but not as
Right.
much as, and even heavily, but it's still not going to be what I'm going to do for myself,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. But I think getting out of the frame of like doing more for others than you do for yourself is part of
Yeah.
that's part of my journey. One of the questions I had for you, I actually started adding it into my questions. And then you posted something on Instagram like literally the other day that was the same question. I'm like, so I knew I was on the right track. Which is, what's the lesson that you're still learning, or like that you can't learn, like you're having a hard time learning? And for me, I think that's part of it. Showing up for myself as much as I show up for other people is one of
Yeah.
them.
Mine's a few things, I think, but one of the things I talked about recently was like learning to not judge my work when my work has to be judged in order for it to grow. As a writer, it's like really hard to not get feedback. I like not getting feedback on some things, but like I can't function if I don't get feedback on my writing. And I mean, I have a few things. I'm still very body dysmorphic, which people find stupid because I'm skinny, and it's like they don't understand that you like I might be skinny, but I have fat eyes, and they see a different body than what is actually there. Which some of the work is me being in my underwear, But like I did a post the other day where I was grabbing my cellulite and my belly, and it fucking triggered me, and set me back for a few days,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's all part of, my childhood and being told that I was fat. And, that's a lot of work. You
Yeah.
know, I am getting so much better about money than I used to. But again, that's my childhood and growing up with parents who were terrible with money. But you just keep doing the work, and it's not like it's not like a job, like a painful job. It's a good job when you really take a look at your shit and figure out what it is that's making you do something. It makes that something go away as opposed to ignoring it, which just leaves it there for the rest of your life. And I want to leave here better than I came. I don't want to, I believe in reincarnation. I don't want to come back down and repeat
To
getting
learn all the
molested.
same fucking
I
lessons
don't
all
want to
over
get
again.
molested again in my next life.
Right.
Like, I'd like to skip that. And I know we pick the lives that we come into, we pick our parents, we pick our kids. It gives me comfort to know that I picked my parents who unnurtured me so that I wouldn't have to repeat it.
Yeah. I think there's a lot in that, like unlearning the shit that, because like people talk about that sort of generational trauma or generational, like, people kind of passing, that whatever happened to them, they will perpetuate upon the world sort of thing. And I
Yeah.
think like, but if you're doing the work like you are, like, then that's no, like what you're doing is you're actually making sure that that's not what happens.
Show me my shit so I don't have to do it
Yeah.
again. Just show it to me so
Right.
I can get rid of it so that I don't have to repeat it.
I love that. I mean, I think it's,
Because if I have
that's,
to come down for another fucking Donald Trump, I'm going to kill myself. If I have to watch what's happening in the world today, someone just sent me an article that said the United States Army is joining forces with the Israeli army. And I'm like, what? I'm Jewish. And I'm like, what? No,
yeah, no,
no.
yeah,
Join forces to get monsters out of office. How about that?
right. That's, yeah, and that's not happening. I mean, even like, we're taping this the day after Lindsey Graham died, and all of,
Oh my God, if I see one more person say something nice about that fucking
well, it's
monster,
like the
I've had it.
Democratic senators, like, shut up. Like, you don't have to say
Just
anything. You
don't
could just
say
not say
anything.
anything instead of
Someone
saying
said
something.
rest in piss, Lindsey Graham. And I was like, yeah, I mean, he was a closeted homosexual who
Right.
took out shit on other gay people. Like, he was a monster.
You were talking before about the body dysmorphia, and part of obviously your Instagram thing, and I think you do on TikTok too. I'm not on TikTok at all, but
Yes.
just sort of doing your commentary as you're getting dressed and sort of coming. I think you had said that you didn't start doing that. You weren't taping when you were in your underwear. You were just taping when you were dressed, and you were talking about your things were getting dressed. But you needed more time for your content, so you just started taping it. But I don't think that was comfortable for you right in the very beginning. That sort of, or was it? Or did you not care?
I was nervous about it. And funny enough, the first time I taped something, I think I didn't have underwear on. And some guy, of course, sent me a message that he could see my vagina. And I was like, "Oh, fuck." It was at like 200,000 views. And I was really excited that it was doing well. And I was like, shit, do I take it down? It's only one guy. And then he
Right.
started writing me disgusting messages. And so I took it down.
Mm.
I was definitely nervous, but oddly enough, I wasn't nervous that people were going to make fun of my body or my body being old. I was just nervous that people were going to think I was cringe
Mm.
for doing it. But I didn't really. I'm one of those people that like posts like nobody's watching. Like, I don't make the connection between the people out there watching me in my underpants that day. I think about them watching me in an outfit, and I'm still very, I mean, I've done a couple of spots where I put all my shit out there, as in like cellulite and what I find to be uncomfortable.
Yep.
And it's, it's been harder, but I don't know, I don't really think about it. I just I
Just
just
doing
need,
it.
yeah, I don't think about it. People say it all the time, like about being in my underwear, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's helping me like my body more.
Right.
And I'm very like, I'm not putting all the shots.
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
edit.
Of course. I mean, how do you not? I mean, even the like, there'll be
I've
things I
done
edit.
some where I didn't, and I was like, okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
but
just put it out there.
like
Anyway, I think
that's
women need to see what my body at 65 looks like.
right.
Like, like this is whatever.
It's there. It's real. It's
Whatever.
right.
It's
Yeah.
not gonna. I've worked out, and it doesn't change.
Yeah.
You know, I like. Do I love these? No, but it holds my head up.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, you're not gonna like cut it out, right?
if I
Yeah.
see one more 30-year-old getting an upper bleph, I'm gonna fucking take myself out. Like,
I don't even know what
I
that is, but I'm like,
it's a eyelid surgery.
God,
I
all
mean,
right.
the way women cut their faces up and tell
Ugh.
me that it's their prerogative It is your prerogative, but you're also choosing to do it because you think it's going to make you look younger. It doesn't. You just look like an older person with surgery. And the reason you're doing it is because the patriarchy has been telling you since the womb that you're ugly when you age. So just understand why you do it
Right.
and then go ahead and do it. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
But
just
stop
be
being
like,
mean to women that have body dysmorphia then. Stop being mean to women
seriously.
who want to be skinny because it's the same fucking damage as the people who want to get their faces cut up.
Yep. Yeah. Um, so Kathleen O'Hara that died recently, the actor,
Oh,
there was a quote of her. I know, she's so good.
so
There was a
good.
quote of hers that somebody shared. Actually, a couple of people were sharing, but I just had this interaction and I wanted to just mention it because it's sort of like it clicked something for me. So the quote was, take 1,000 naked pictures of yourself now. You may
Yeah.
currently think, oh, I'm too spooky or nobody wants to see these tiny boobies. But believe me, one day you will look back at those photos with much kinder eyes and say, dear God, I was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And
I
I,
mean,
I love that.
I didn't take pictures throughout my 50s.
Right.
Someone just sent me pictures from my 50th birthday that I didn't know existed because I
Yeah.
didn't take pictures of myself because my menopause told me I looked hideous.
Mm,
And I'm mad that I don't have
yeah.
photos from that
Right.
period of my life,
Of
Like
course. Yeah.
even if you don't think you look your best, take the pictures because you were alive.
100%. Yeah.
You
And
were
like,
alive, you got out
yeah.
of bed that day. You were a human being living in the world. Why should you not have a picture of that? I know, I remember not wearing sleeveless shirts because I hated all of the, this wrinkles in my arms. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care. It's hot out.
Yeah. I still have a couple of those hang-ups, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah,
How could
like
you
one,
not?
I
You're
know,
told every fucking day that it's hideous.
right?
Every day
I know.
since the womb.
But the thing with that Kathleen O'Hara quote, when this person, this friend of mine on Instagram shared it, I responded and I said, I'll never be brave enough to take naked photographs of myself. And she just replied back and she said, one day. And for some reason in that moment, that quote and then that interaction, like I started looking at my body differently. Like I started looking for things to love instead of looking for things to not love.
Yeah.
And I was like that was just, I mean, it was just so simple in a way, but like just, so I think about the things that you share and maybe even some of the things that I share, like it's like it'll just register, something will register with a person or maybe hundreds of people, thousands of people, who knows, right? But those things make a difference because
Yeah.
somebody will read into or hear something in that actually just clicks something in their brain the way that
Yeah.
interaction did with me.
The messaging has to change because the messaging is what's going to save us if we change it. If you look back into I don't know what year it was in our history, but Rubenesque women, big
Yes.
women, were considered to be more beautiful, were considered to be the wealthier, wanted, desirable body. We
Yep.
changed it because a bunch of fucking pedophiles started owning clothing companies and started
Right.
using teeny little bodies to promote shit. Like,
Yeah.
understand where the messaging is coming from and stop listening to that because whatever your body is if it's healthy, that's the right body for you.
Right, exactly. It doesn't have to be super skinny. It doesn't have to be super curvy. It just has to be
Whatever it is.
whatever supports you and your health.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, you talk about the Rubenesque women. I think if you look at some of, like, at least most of, I think, Tamara de Lempicka's paintings that I was mentioning, like, it's very curvy people. Like, she was bisexual, so she was, with men and women, and her pictures of paintings of women are very, curvaceous, like, full-bodied women. So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
They all were.
right,
All the women in
exactly.
all of the paintings that are, considered to be the most beautiful works of art.
Right, exactly.
They weren't skinny little bitches like me
Mm-hmm.
that think they're
And that,
fat.
but that, you know what though? I mean, but like you said, it's like everybody's body is their own, and I wish people were just more comfortable with their bodies, however they are.
Yeah. It's really boring for all of us to look the same. We should all look different. We should have different hair, different clothes, different eyes, different bodies. That's the beauty of the world is
Mm-hmm.
to be different.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that your pro aging obviously is your platform, but when in that conversation with Constance that I was tuning into, you talked about this sort of feeling like, should you be done at 65? Like, are you like, do you need to still kind of constantly create, and this feeling of having to create versus wanting to create?
Yeah.
Where are you at with that?
I still have to create to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to do it, but I want to do it less and
Okay.
less. Or I might want to do something different because I do get the urge to pivot quite frequently.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for a divine sign for what that next pivot
Okay.
is. I know what I'd like it to be, so I'm
So
trying
that's
to
what it is.
manifest that.
Yeah. But whatever you like it to
Stay
be, that's
tuned.
the thing, right? But that's it. Like, whatever you want it to be, like,
Yeah.
that's, you got to listen to your body and be like, okay,
Yes.
like, or your gut,
I
or
I've
your
always
heart,
walked
whatever.
away from things that don't serve me.
Good.
It's caused me financial damage, but that's okay. I'm still here. I
Yeah,
still
I
live in
mean,
a
I
beautiful
think,
house, even if it's smaller than my last beautiful house. It's
that's
still
all right.
beautiful.
Yeah. One of the things when you said that I was thinking about, I don't know if you ever watched the Joan Rivers documentary. There was a
Yes.
so I don't know if you remember this scene, but there was a scene where she's looking at her booking book and it's
Yeah.
empty. And she's like
Yeah.
80, she's in her 80s, right? And she's looking at her booking book and it's empty, and she feels like, because it's empty, I'm not relevant.
Yeah.
And that really struck me as like I don't want to be sitting around at 80 going, like, if nobody's talking to me or booking me for whatever, like, then I'm not relevant, right? So I think,
Yeah.
like, and it sort of just ties back to me to what you were saying about having to create versus wanting to, and what is it your gut says you want to do versus what you think you have to do,
I
you
think
know?
I'm a creative person, and
Yeah.
so I always will be. I always have been. I've always just been making things, doing things, thinking things, writing things. That's just
Yeah.
who I am, and it's not my job, it's who I
Right.
am.
Exactly.
And I think the same thing for Joan Rivers, but she wasn't able to delineate between it's a job and it's my life and it's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes you have to let go of the things that you thought you were supposed to be doing or wanted to do as your career. I mean, I always wanted to be a writer, and when I finally became a sitcom writer, I thought, oh, this is great. It's just going to go from here. Like, I'm just going to keep going from here. And it didn't, it
Yeah.
ended. And it took me a minute to not think of myself as a failure, but to think I just need a new place to say what I want to say. And that's how I ended up on social media.
Mm.
So sometimes giving yourself a break of what you think you're supposed to be doing and just do something different that's also creative will lead you to another path. We get stuck in these ideas of, well, I have to be a writer. I'm a writer. I have to be a writer. Well, guess what? I still write every day because I write what I put on Instagram.
Right.
I just didn't know that that was the place, the form that it was going to take,
Right. It's not
and I had no
long form.
expectations for it.
Yeah.
So, and I think
I
it'll
love
lead
that.
me back to what it is that I thought I wanted to do. And guess what? I don't know that I want to be in a writer's room anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe I did it and that was it. And I think for Joan, she grew up at a time where there weren't a lot of opportunities for women in general. So the fact
Yeah.
that she made it in this one place was like, well, fuck, I've got nothing if I don't have that. I'm nobody if I don't have
Right.
that. And that's part of, fame also, I think, which is a
Yeah.
terrible trick.
Yeah, I think so. It just made me sad. Like, that whole
Yeah.
scene just made me really sad, because I'm like,
Everything about Joan made me
I
sad
know.
because
I
she was
know.
so wonderful. I've talked to two people on our podcast who were very close with her.
Mhm.
And I said to her, like, one of them, do you think if Joan were alive today, she would still be on a carpet telling women they look like shit? And uh, both of them, one of them said no, but the other one thought she would still be doing what she was doing. But I don't think she would.
Mm. I
I think
think
she would have had a real turnaround.
some kind of an
Still talk
awakening
about an
or
outfit looking like shit, but not actually saying the woman looked fat or,
right.
I think the internalized misogyny was very popular when we were growing up
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
for boomers and beyond. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the way that the guys were doing comedy, so it was like that's the way comedy was,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I'll have to look for those episodes now. The other thing you talked about, obviously, in your bio is sort of anti-alcohol. You became sober, I think, 26 years ago this month, maybe?
June. Yeah.
June.
26
Okay,
years ago,
26 in
June.
June.
Yeah.
Okay. And then deliberately celibate sort of 6 months later. What, you took a
Yeah.
break and never went back, basically, right?
Yeah.
But talk to me about sort of that anti-alcohol, as an ex-alcoholic. Actually don't, I don't drink at all, just as a by the way. So I'm not,
I just,
yeah,
we promote alcohol like it's not fine, like it's nothing.
yeah,
And we say things like, everything in moderation. But the truth is, the more they study it, the more that they discover that even a glass of anything is poison. And the idea that you would poison yourself for fun. I just think for the most part, it's just people that just want to escape something that they're not dealing with, and that's why they get drunk. But, that's me being judgy again. I just know that I was on a path to death.
yeah,
I was not going to survive my alcoholism. And when it finally clicked for me, it was easy to do. I did it cold turkey. I mean, it was rough the first 6 months, but I've never looked back. I've never missed it. And I am a very addictive person. I started smoking pot like 17 years after I quit drinking, and I have to not do that either because I'm just a very addictive personality. I have
yeah,
a lot of voices in my head and they like to be shut up every now and then. But it's better when I listen to them and quiet them on my own,
right. Because they
which is
got
not
something to tell
easy.
you.
Yeah,
They've got something to tell you, even if it's not, it's not necessarily
yeah.
how you should live your life, but there's something in that that's telling you something that you need to hear. Not you need to
I'm
necessarily
very,
heed, but yeah,
yeah, I'm very proud of young people that have figured out like getting drunk is not the answer. It's just
yeah. I mean,
not.
yeah, like
You
I grew
can,
up in
you
Ireland,
can
right? So it's,
become comfortable with yourself and fall
yes,
in love with yourself, and you will have as much fun and as much joy and be just as funny and goofy and stupid as you are drunk.
100%. Yeah, I feel
Do
that. Like,
mushrooms.
yeah, I've never done mushrooms either. But, like, growing up in Ireland as, it's stereotypical, I suppose. But anyway,
Same as
like,
England.
yeah,
The
yeah.
clubs used to only be open at lunch and then at dinner. And at lunch, you would see people leaving their offices just getting
Oh,
fucking
a
hammered. And
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But like I remember being probably like 14, 15, and all my kids, like we were going to a disco or whatever, like everybody was drinking and like,
yeah,
going to the parents' liquor cabinet and putting like little bits of everything into a jam jar or
yeah,
something and then getting trashed and they were either always throwing up or crying and I'm what's the appeal? Like that
yeah.
was honestly like that was my like I
Well,
just
you're
was like
taught you can push through that. You can
you
push through
know?
that and get to
Right.
a place where you're comfortable with your alcohol.
Yeah, but I'm like, why? And it's like people talk about like, I don't know, beer, and I'm like, I think beer is like the worst tasting thing in the world. People are like, oh, but you acquire a taste. Why? Like, I don't like
Same,
that's yeah. So
same.
that's
I
kind of
did
my
acquire a
yeah.
taste for non-alcoholic beer, though. I do
Oh,
enjoy that.
really?
I love, they make so many cool NA beers now, and they're so refreshing, and it fools my brain into thinking, I'm having a cocktail. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Okay.
I enjoy it. It's how I quit drinking, actually. They tell you not to
Yeah.
do NA beers because there's a bit of alcohol in them, but there aren't now. They've figured out how to do
Yeah.
it without. And whatever works, they work for me. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
It's just never been part of my life. And I admire obviously the fact that you did that, like got sober cold turkey on your own without all of the interventions that people, you know.
I just felt like again, I need to show up for myself.
Yep.
You know, I need to not depend on someone else to get me sober because what happens when they're gone?
Right.
You
It's like
know?
are you replacing one crutch with another?
Yeah, and I need to help myself so that I am there for myself. I need to show up for me. And that is something that I have figured out how to do because I am hyper independent because I was unnurtured as a child. But I'll take it because it's helped me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fantastic. I have a couple of questions that I like to ask everybody.
Hmm.
What is something that quietly or not so quietly breaks you?
Ugh, dogs. Dogs in rescue shelters, dogs being murdered, dogs, all
Yeah,
the dogs. I
all the
just,
dogs.
what's happening to dogs on Skid Row in LA. I am such a lover of dogs. I think they're the most beautiful creatures. Anything with animals, everywhere, any animal, not just dogs. It just fucking breaks me. It
Yeah.
breaks me. And not to take away from children, because I feel like more people stand up for the children and things
Yeah.
that are happening in the world. But for me, it's animals. It's
Yeah.
just, we
Yeah.
don't deserve them.
I know they're just so like kind-hearted. Like they're just so
They're the
full
best.
of
They
yeah.
just want to love. They just want
They just
love.
want love. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just want to give and receive love, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. What about joy? Like you mentioned joy earlier. What brings you joy?
Gosh, so many things. Going to the ocean, looking at the trees, shopping, having a great meal, traveling,
You know?
chatting on the phone with friends. I mean, everything, anything, all of it,
Yeah. Do
all
people
of
still
it.
talk on the phone?
Yeah. I love FaceTiming my friends. I am known to like raw dog FaceTime somebody and making them answer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love I love all of it. I love being alive. It's
Yeah.
joyful, you know,
I love
if you
that.
let it.
Yeah. My wife and I will go out to dinner, fairly very regularly probably. And every now and then somebody will say, are you celebrating anything? And we'll just say life. Like we're just
Yeah.
celebrating life.
Yeah. I like when the
It's
waiter comes over and says, "Are you allergic to anything?" And I go, "Yeah, shitty people. Shitty people."
how do they respond? Depends
They
obviously
laugh.
on the person, but yeah.
They
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah, I would
Haven't
hope
had
so.
anybody not laugh yet.
Yeah, yeah. I know. It's a good answer though.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a lot of those around.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you wanted to sort of touch on, or any like final thoughts or
I think we
anything you
talked
want to
about
leave us with?
everything.
We kind
My
of
final
did.
thoughts are please listen to our podcast, Talk 50 to Me, available wherever you get your podcasts,
It's a
and
good
linked
one.
in my bio on at Welcome to Heidi.
I will share the links to all the things.
Yeah, that's
And
really it.
yeah, I mean, listen, we have to do these things for each other. There's just one thing I'm going to end with then, and that is that I was reading an interview that you did with Molly T. O'Connor, and this is what Molly said in
Like,
the interview. It was like a year ago or so. It
okay.
was like a written interview.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
otherwise. And Molly said, Heidi may give no fucks, but to those of us lucky enough to find her, she gives everything. And so
No.
that I want to end with and say thank you for being here.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That makes me want to
Of course.
cry, but I'm not going to cry today. Just one day out of
One
every
day,
day, I'm
please.
not going to cry.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
But
It's been an
thank you,
absolute
absolutely.
pleasure talking to you.
You too.